The name of this video is how to clean a stall. And I am going to tell you, this is one dirty stall. You have to clean them every day because every day they look like this. This is not something I would ordinarily want to show. But that's how they look every day. And sometimes even worse. Alright? So the first thing you have to do is you have to take out the wet spot. Alright? And the way you know it's the wet spot is wherever you see it dark, you take up the dark spot. By the way, the reason the horse isn't exiting is because you will see the wheelbarrow is blocking the door. And I'll bring it in even a little bit tighter to block him even more. So, first you isolate your wet spot. Can you push over a little bit? Give me a... Oops, sorry. And all of this is wet. All of it's wet. You can't throw away any good shavings because really, in barn management, that's one of the greatest expenses in barn management is shavings. Around here in New England, shavings cost $4 a bag. That's for about 3.5 cubic feet, kiln dried and compressed. That's expensive. To bed down this stall takes a couple of bags, 2 bags. So, you don't want to waste shavings. You don't want to waste any good ones. But since the horse has to sleep in it, you don't want to leave any disgusting ones. Certain seasons, the stalls are going to be dirtier than others. My horses all have access to going out anytime they want, but that means they have access to going in anytime they want. So when it's really buggy out, like right now, there are a ton of deer flies. We don't have a problem with bitey house flies. We bought those fly predators, and those are great. But they need to invent predators for deer flies, because as soon as they get out near the woods, that's it. They get eaten alive. So they come into their stalls, and they have a nice break from the flies in their stall. Push over, Gabriel. Thank you. Right down to it. I've got to get all the wet right out. I can't leave any of the wet. After I get the wet spot, that's when I go for the solids. Alright? And again, I want to be careful not to get any of the shavings. I use like little jabbing movements because I don't want to get the shavings. Alright? Just little jabbing movements like that. And these aren't big curly fluffy shavings. It's harder to do it with fluffier shavings. And it's really hard to do it with straw, which is a preference for people who have brood mares when they're breeding. It's really hard. So the finer it is, the easier it is to clean. But then, sometimes if it's too fine, you have respiratory issues. So, you've got to get just the right comfort level of shavings for your horses and convenience level for you. Not so fine that it's a breathing hazard, but if it can be coarse enough so that it doesn't, but fine enough so that it goes through the pitch more easily. when you find such a supply. Stick with it. Alright, so now I believe I've got all the solids out that are visible to see. So the next thing I do is I pull down the sides, because surely some additional manure will turn up on the sides. And when that additional manure turns up on the sides, I can just cast that up. I want to do it, of course there's no such thing as perfect, but I want to do it as close to perfectly as I can, so that I don't waste it. I want to make it comfortable for my horse. If you had Gabriel, you would want to make it comfortable for him too. Of course you would. He's so good. Oh, push over, Gabriel. Thank you. And as I'm pulling it away, I'm seeing if there's any remainder in there. And now that I've got it all down there, that didn't take me very long, that wasn't even an edit, I can now safely add a bag of shavings to this. I can put a new bag on top of it since I've got all the old stuff out. Okay, so now I'm going to dump a bag of shavings in here. Gabriel heard me replay the camera when he walked out the door. He found that concerning. But anyway, there we go. Some people take a lot of time to spread the shavings, and I'm of the opinion that a horse is pretty capable of spreading it out themselves. I don't think it needs to be elaborate. So anyway, there's the new shavings in the clean stall. This would be the time to clean the water buckets. Give them a scrub if you use a scrub brush. I myself prefer a towel. I give them a wipe, and then of course refill them right to the brim. And I want to mention my shavings come in plastic, so you can store them outside. I also have to put a little tarp over them, but they're not the same as a food stuff, so you don't have to be quite as careful with shaving storage as you would with grain or hay storage, because they're not something that the horse eats. But anyway, that's how to clean a stall.